Hey guys, welcome back to another video on the Inside Spurs Show. Happy Monday afternoon. It is afternoon, isn't it? Yes, it is. Okay, good. I keep forgetting just to check beforehand. Hope you're well. Hope you're looking after yourself on this somewhat gloomy day. Whatever you're up to, hope you're enjoying it. I didn't make a video really over the weekend. I was a little bit busy. Things got away from me and just didn't really have the time to get another one out. So we will talk about obviously the Wolves game that was the 12:30 kickoff on Saturday afternoon. Got some interesting updates around Saudi links to Richarlison, as well as kind of a value for Lloyd Kelly being touted. So we'll talk about that. Let's talk in first and foremost about Richarlison, because that's the headline. That's the thumbnail as well, Richarlison. And this came from the Telegraph, and it came out about an hour ago from when I'm starting this recording. And it's an exclusive from the Telegraph, who said that Manchester United's Jadon Sancho and Tottenham forward Richarlison emerge as Saudi Arabia top targets. A few things on this. Obviously, Richarlison's at the moment is out with an injury. Obviously, had surgery last week, and Ange kind of said it was not a long-term sort of layoff. I think you probably see him back before January. So that being the case as well, that helps if you are thinking of a sale, right? That helps because he'll be back fit and healthy. Obviously, it's good for us that we have another player back fit and able to play. Obviously, the other good things about, when you do deal with Saudi Arabia is you're going to get a fair value in terms of what you think the price will be, because they're happy to normally pay quite a bit of money for them. Not only that, there is no real concern about, will Saudi Arabia take on the guy's wages or not, because, well, they got more money than us, so they can afford it. There's obviously down to the player, does he want to go? Because if he doesn't want to go, he's not going to go to Saudi Arabia. You can't force a player to leave. That's not how it works. If you sign a contract, he's allowed to stay for the whole time of that contract, right? Whether he plays or not, he's allowed to stay. With, I know, Brazilian culture, that it's very much, you look forward to sort of like earn as much money so you can take care of your family. That's kind of, in a nutshell, what a lot of them do. You think of Oscar, who went to China, I think he was 25 when he went to China because he was going to earn multiple hundreds of £1,000s a week. Same thing, obviously, with a lot of other players that have gone to Saudi Arabia, players that, are in the middle of their primes, or not even before, they're actually before their primes, they've gone there. And it's, you think it's shocking, but it's generational wealth. Whatever you think of Richarlison, it hasn't truly worked. It doesn't mean it can't work, because there's been flashes, but it hasn't truly worked consistently enough. And when we talked about David Ornstein's quote last week about how Spurs potentially may not have as much money as people think, or they'd have to be creative with the deals they're going to want to make. Well, if you can free up some money through a sale of Richarlison, that's going to make a big difference. When I looked at transfer market, they valued him at 40 million euros. Let's call it mid-30s pounds. If you're going to get 35, maybe even 40 million for Richarlison, a part of me thinks do it, because I'm not sure he'll ever truly be an Ange guy, right? And there's other players in that squad that I don't truly think will be Ange guys. Doesn't mean they're bad footballers, by the way. Just for this system, I don't think it suits them. And if you can get 35, 40 million, then yeah, you're going to end up getting a couple of players in who, maybe it is Lloyd Kelly, who I talk about in a minute, that are more of an Ange style player. And I think, by the way, this is a really key point, because when you looked at the weekend and you looked at some of the players playing, they've been here way too long. They've consistently made mistakes for too long. And you saw it show its ugly face again on the weekend. And it's evident, So, again, if you're going to reach that money, I'm saying sell Richarlison. But if you're going to be offered like 15, 20 million, then I don't think it's that truly worth it. Especially in Daniel Levy's case, he's not going to want to write off a £60 million transfer for 20 million. He's not going to do that. He doesn't want to do it in Ndombele. He's not going to do it with Richarlison, who actually has shown some value to the squad, Let's talk a little bit about Wolves. I think he said Watford. I haven't played them in a while. Let's talk about the Wolves game first, because I think it's going to lead really nicely into the Lloyd Kelly situation. So, look, we started the game very well. Very beautiful goal scored for Brennan Johnson. With 2-3 minutes in, things were looking good. And then we started playing conservatively, as Ange said. Now, the reason why I've always been very consistent on this, that we're not title challengers. Ange needs a couple of windows minimum for him to get the squad that he truly needs is when you look at that team and you look at the back four, Emerson Royale as left back, already a massive red flag. Ben Davies at left centre back, red flag. Eric Dyer playing right centre back, red flag. All those three, I think, it's quite funny. People go, I saw someone say Emerson Royale was one of our better players in the first half. I don't know what game they were watching because he was not good at all. Eric Dyer and Davies had a good game for, I'd say, about 80 minutes and then made mistakes for their goals. So again, shows its really, ugly face because they'll play well for a bit, but there's always mistakes. There's always lack of awareness. Pierre Højbjerg played well in spurts, but didn't track the runner for one of their goals. He was at fault for one of the goals. There's a lot of players there that just do not suit Ange's system and they need to be moved on. I'm talking Ben Davies. I am talking Dyer. I'm talking Højbjerg. I'm talking Emerson Royale, to be honest. I think everyone likes the idea that Emerson's going to be great, but I haven't seen really anything in 18 months to make me think, yeah, he can definitely be a good player in the Premier League. He can be an all right backup, but he's not going to be a good player. And I've always talked about how every position requires two players who are fairly equal in ability because you don't want the starter to the backup to be a massive drop-off. Pedro Porro to Emerson Royale is leaps and bounds between them. It's scary how far apart they are. I'm not a fan of him. I'm not a fan. I think Ben Davies has been here now a very long time. He's capped out. I think he's actually going down the other side of his football ability in terms of he's just getting a bit older. Happens. There's nothing wrong with that. But you could go get a few quid for moving Ben Davies on. Eric Dyer, I think in January he's gone. I really do think he's gone. And again, this is the thing. They don't suit Ange's system. It's not to say they're bad players. And I've always been pretty on it with saying Eric Dyer is a Premier League defender, but not for a top six contender. Ben Davies is the same. I think he's a Premier League defender, but not for a top six competitor. We've seen enough evidence that they're not. There's nothing wrong with that. I think Højbjerg will be on his way out because Højbjerg, for things that he did do well, he also gave the ball away a fair amount. He didn't really get a hold of the midfield like he normally does. Just doesn't suit Ange's system. And I know people want him to want a ball winner and things like that. You can replace a ball winner. That's quite good. It's quite easy, but he does play quite negative football, which doesn't suit an attacking system. And you saw how conservative and actually quite negative we were at times. Not having Maddison obviously was a big thing. I mean, people slagging off Lo Celso when he came on. It's like he's not played any football for months. He's come on. He actually got on the ball more than Sarr did, more than Basuma did, more than Højbjerg did even at times. And he was at fault. He was the reason we lost. That's just an agenda. If that's where you feel, that's an agenda because that's not what happened whatsoever. He gave away the free kick for the second goal. What about Emerson Royale not tracking back hard enough to get into position? Do you want to talk about that? Do you want to talk about how Eric Dyer doesn't track the runners? Do you want to talk about how Pierre Højbjerg doesn't track runners? Do you want to talk about how Basuma didn't play all that well? There's a lot of things there that you can talk about. Don't hone in on one guy. But because I saw that, I'm not saying you guys did it, but I saw that, and it's just typical Spurs fans being boring. That's all it is. But I think, people kind of going, oh, it's terrible, this is terrible, that. We were never going to be good in terms of winning a title. Ange needs multiple windows because, look, when he's lost 4 or 5 players, he's reverting back to Pochettino players. And that's my big point. Eric Dyer, Ben Davies, Pochettino players. Move them on. Move them on. It's time to let go of that past. If other big teams can do it, why can't we? Let's talk Lloyd Kelly, because I think this is a big thing. This shows Lloyd Kelly much better than the 2 centre-halves we had playing against Wolves. And Peter O'Rourke came out with that Tottenham will have to pay around 25 to 30 million for Bournemouth defender Lloyd Kelly in the January transfer window. And Ekram Kunur put out that 25-year-old defender Lloyd Kelly could consider leaving Bournemouth in January as clubs from Serie A and Premier League are interested in signing the English player. So 2-part on that. 30 million is too much. He's got 6 months left of his contract. Spurs aren't paying 25 to 30 million for a guy who's got 6 months left. They might pay 15, but they're not paying that. Hell, to be honest, they might not even pay 15. Thinking about it, they might not even pay 10. Lewis Holtby, I remember Lewis Holtby being one of those, and it was like 2.5 million. Look, We need Lloyd Kelly. We need Gonzalo Inacio. We need you or me at centre-half at one point, I think, or another. We're not paying that because I think Levy will probably look at it and go, well, yeah, I mean, he's Prem proven, he's 25, hasn't even reached his prime. You can coach him up a bit. He's going to play a lot of football this season, I think, because you're going to find there's more injuries to come. But I also think they're going to look at it and go, what if we were to spend just maybe a tad more and get a really world-class centre-half? Because I think you probably could. I'm not saying that that's going to happen, guys. I know you and I both know Levy's probably going to go for the cheaper option. We know that. What I'm saying is the scouting system, Johan Lang, Scott Munn, all the new boys that have come in, there's so many, I'm not going to list them all, there's so many. They're going to look at it and go, for 30 million, we think we can do better. That's the thing. 30 million for a guy who's got 6 months left on his contract. If he's not one of the world's greatest centre-halves, we're not paying it. That's, I think, fine. That is, I'll put a nail in that coffin. I don't think they'd even get 30 million Bournemouth, even if Saudi came in. That is what they're setting out, because they'll look at it and go, we'd rather let him go for free and guarantee Premier League survival than sell him in January, get some money, and then not get relegated, because that is not worth it. That's a lot of money lost. I still think we'll be in the hunt for Lloyd Kelly. I still think we'll probably keep tabs on Lloyd Kelly. I do think we'll even make a bid for Lloyd Kelly. But we won't be paying that. I know that for sure. Anyway, guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you did enjoy it. Drop a like on the video if you did. Hit me in the comment section below. Look, you've got the Wolves game. I want to know your thoughts and feelings about it. I hope you agree with me to a degree. It's not all doom and gloom. We're still 2 points off top or whatever it is. Or 3 points. Or I don't know what it was. That we need windows. We need time to give Ange what he needs. We're kind of between a rock and a hard place for the next 6 weeks. Obviously, let me know around the Lloyd Kelly situation that I've just talked about, 25, 30 million. Are you paying that? Or do you think they'll look elsewhere? I do have an update on that potentially as well, which I think you'll find very interesting. And obviously, you've got the situation in Saudi Arabia and Richarlison. I want to know your thoughts and feelings about that. Subscribe to the channel if you are new. Very nice to have you up if you are new, basically. I'm Andy, don't forget. And hit the bell notification for more, because like I said, I've got another video out later around some interesting updates on centre-halves, one of which we have apparently made a bid for, and I will talk about it in another video. Anyway, guys, that's the end of the video. I hope you did enjoy it, and I'll see you all very, very soon. Take care, guys.